Hey, it's Kim Commando Today, your daily podcast to keep you up to date with all things digital and beyond. And I'd love to have you be a part of our podcast. You can make an appointment to speak with me. Just head over to commando.com, and on the top right, there's a button that says Email Kim. Fill that out, and that's it. All right, so is your partner acting a little sketchy? Do you think he or she could be fooling around? Are they hiding their phone? And maybe you just have like this gut feeling like they are up to no good. Okay, if you answered yes to any of that, you really need to know about Steph A. She's known as the Fave Investigator on Instagram and TikTok. And let me tell you, she has this massive following. Like 500 million people follow her. And I had a chance to look at some of her videos. And let me tell you, they are so good. Here, take a look at one.
A wife to follow her husband. She found a random number in his phone, and he's been acting weird lately. So he ended up going to a coffee shop I went to, waited for him to come out. And I thought this man was an angel, but if you stay tuned, he meets up with a girl later. He shows up to a car wash. I go inside, get a little snack, just make sure he's not talking to any girls in here. And then I said, absolutely, I'm gonna sit in this massage chair and watch him. He ended up sitting next to me, next to a girl, but that is not the girl. But then he ended up departing, and he went to a laundromat. And when I say this is my first time seeing someone cheat in a laundromat, it is my first time seeing someone cheat in a laundromat. Thank you to whoever's tied this was, because I needed to hide behind it a little bit. They ended up taking off together, hand in hand, kissing, and they went to In-N-Out. They ate inside, and then they departed to a residence, which is probably her residence. So, this is my time. Of course, I got myself a little protein burger and chilled outside of the house waiting for them. Did I eat the paper? I ended up calling the wife, letting her know, and she said that's all she needed to know, and surveillance was discontinued.
Yes, that's Steph A. And Steph is here joining us. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, your videos are amazing. How did you get started in this?
Thank you. So I've always felt like I was made to be a PI. I kind of grew up around it. My dad was law enforcement. And one of my best friends growing up, his dad owned a private investigation company. And then it kind of just was like, when I was younger, I was helping my friends out, following their, boyfriends and girlfriends, and I just had an interest in it. So I went to school for criminal justice, and I started actually working as a loss prevention agent, which is I'm in the cameras inside of a department store, and I'm catching people shoplift. So I did that for 7 years, and I was like, you know what? I love the camera. I love watching people. Like, why not try the whole investigation? So I ended up finding an entry-level position, got in there, and I've been doing it for about 12 years now. I ended up starting my own company about 6 years ago.
That's awesome. I love that you hold an old school Sony Handycam.
Yeah. They always make fun of me for that. They're like, why do you always have an old school? But I love the old school cameras. The zoom is so much better on them.
Yeah.
And that's all kind of what you need, if you're doing surveillance in the vehicle. But I do use other things when I'm doing surveillance on foot, like covert cameras and stuff like that.
Like what kind of cameras? Covert?
Like covert cameras. So, when I first started in the industry, like I was so gung-ho, and I was like, I'm going to get the cameras that my keychain had a camera in it. I had a pen that had a camera in it. And honestly, what you really need is just your iPhone. The quality of an iPhone is so good now, and everybody is walking around holding their iPhone. There's a lot of vloggers out there. So it really is like the best covert camera because everybody's using it. So you don't look like you're actually, surveilling somebody And you could probably put the phone on a selfie stick too, right? And pretend that you do that. It's like you're taking a pic. Like if you need to get like a high place or something like that, I usually wear a jacket that has a pocket in it, and I put my cell phone right in here. And it just kind of shoots out. I just have it recording the whole time, and everywhere I walk, it's kind of shooting. And they came out with the Meta glasses too, the Ray-Ban Meta glasses, which I just purchased. So I think that's going to be a good asset too.
Well, especially, because you can be like walking around taking all kinds of videos and just.
Right. And sometimes, some cases require me to videotape them driving. So just having them on while I'm driving works well too.
I'm always looking for ways to keep you safe on your devices. Did you know that there's malware out there that records every single thing that you type? It's called a keylogger, and it's one of the sneakiest ways that hackers steal passwords, credit card numbers, and private info. Scary, right? That's where Endpoint Lock comes in. Think of it like a secret vault for your keyboard. It encrypts or scrambles every keystroke that you type. Even if a hacker is trying to spy on you, all they'll see is uncrackable gibberish. It works quietly in the background on your devices, protecting you every time you log into your bank, shop online, or send a private email. Keyloggers are more common than you might think, but with Endpoint Lock, they don't stand a chance. Go to endpointlock.com/Kim. They're offering an exclusive deal just for my listeners. Get 10% off a monthly or yearly subscription using code KIM10. That's endpointlock.com/Kim using code KIM10 for 10% off a monthly or a yearly plan. Endpointlock.com/Kim. Endpointlock.com/Kim.
Okay, so tell us about a typical investigation. I mean, somebody reaches out to you on social. Is that how it starts?
Yeah. So now that I've been posting since on social media, 99% of my cases are coming from TikTok or Instagram. So they basically reach out and I ask them like some questions on like, what are the behaviors that are different from your, your spouse? You're saying, there's a lot of people reach out to me when they kind of already know something is going on. They saw a text message, they saw a receipt in the pants, they're acting funny. It's always kind of like a switch up, we're creatures of habit and we tend to do the same thing over and over again. But all of a sudden, I had a case that he's like, my husband is now doing his hair all the time and he's at the gym and this is very different from what he usually does,
Normally sitting on the couch with a beer watching the game, right?
Exactly. Now he's like slicking his head, his hair to the side, he's going out, so yeah, and it's just usually a lot of it's just like very intuition, or they've already had a little bit of like some clues into like, okay, something is going on and I want you to further research this doing surveillance.
So what would you say are, like, you mentioned some of the clues, like, maybe like, acting differently, hanging out on their phone more than usual, getting, I would imagine, secretive. Suddenly you can't look at their Venmo purchases. What are some telltale signs?
That's funny that you said Venmo, because Venmo is like one of my top things that I look at that nobody really suspects because people leave it so private and I can see transactions going back and forth of, kissy face, lunch, or something like that. Another thing that I tell, if you have access to the email, a lot of things that people purchase now are coming through receipts, are text messages or emails. You're not getting like hand receipts anymore. So that's a really good one. Also the Maps app, if you're, say you're with your spouse and you're kind of suspecting something and you're like, oh, like we're going somewhere, let me see your GPS. Let me put the address of where we're going in the GPS. You can actually scroll up and see every location for the past month he's been to, that he's GPS to. So those are kind of a little bit of the things that I tell people, like, well, if you have access to their phone, or if you have access to their email, these are some of the things that you can see, especially like with a lot of Apple products. They're all connected, so even if you're deleting your messages on your iPhone, they're still on your iWatch, and also there's a thing on the text messages. I say, well, do you go into your recently deleted messages?
Oh yeah, that's a
and this
good
is
one.
if they have access, to their spouse's phone, which a lot of them do. A lot of them have their passwords and stuff.
Which also then you have like shared notes, Google Docs.
Yeah.
I mean,
Someone reached out to me recently telling me that I guess now on Apple TV, if you hit a certain button saying share all, your photos, your albums can go into the Apple TV and it can pop up on the screen.
God, yeah, that's another one. It's like, oh wait, who's that? When were you at that park? How did that really happen? So, what do you think is the most craziest case that you found? I mean, what's the standout? I do want to play the video with the dad, so that can't be it. So
yeah, no, actually it's not an infidelity case. I was hired by a company that reached out to me that they just fired their employee, and the employee threatened to come back and hurt the manager. So I was hired for a week to follow this person, making sure that they didn't get close to where they worked or the manager's house. So, I mean, I feel like that was the craziest and most stressful surveillance I've ever done, because I'm on this guy for a whole week and I can't lose him, and the pressure of not trying to lose somebody during traffic, or especially in the LA area, is super difficult. So yeah, I did a whole week and just making sure, and anytime he would get close to his employment or, to her residence, I would have to call PD and let them know. So I was in communication with, law enforcement and everything. So yeah, that was one of like one of the biggest cases that I was just like, okay,
That
this
would
is
be
a little
hard.
different.
Right,
Yeah,
especially driving around LA trying to follow somebody. It's
right.
nuts.
It's difficult. It really is an art. A lot of people are like, oh, I can follow it. It really is an art to stay on someone's, blind side, not follow too close, not follow too back to lose them, you know.
Well, here, let's show the video with the dad because I liked this
Okay.
one too.
I've been doing my own thing. Love has always had a way of having bad timing.
Like you sing too.
This has to be one of my favorite cases. So I got hired by a daughter wanting me to follow her dad. He's in his 60s. He's always leaving for the weekend, and she thinks that he's cheating on her mom. All right, I'm going to call this man Frank because Frank was living his best life on this case. Okay, Frank ended up taking off. He got in his car, he was dancing a little bit, and he took off. Frank ended up at the mall. He went straight to the bar, and when I said this man had about 3 drinks, he was people watching, he was saying hi to everybody, he was doing a little dancey dance, and there was nobody with him. He was all by himself. So I said, if Frank is gonna enjoy himself, I'm gonna get myself a little snack too, enjoy myself. I got 2 comments this week. One from this guy saying that he hates how I sing in the beginning. Sir, don't be mad because I got a better voice than you. The second comment said, if you keep eating every day, you're going to get bigger. And then I was like, shit, he's right. I'm so concerned. Let me step on this scale. And the funny thing is the scale went down, sir. So I guess the only thing that's actually getting bigger are my pockets. Back to Frank. Frank hit the Wetzel pretzel line, which is a genius idea because then he headed to the movie theaters. I let him go inside. I stayed back because I wanted to do a little shopping before he came back out. I updated a daughter and she's just like, can you just stay on him? I don't care how much it costs. Like, I really want to know what he does. Frank exited the movies and he heard the band playing, so he did a little 2-step over there and started dancing a little bit by himself. At this point, I'm like, Frank, we need to wrap it up because I'm tired. We've been out here all day. But Frank was not done. He just started moving his little shoulders. He was by himself the whole time, didn't meet up with anybody, and he was just doing his little 2-step. Finally, Frank went to the valet. I waited for him to walk out, and there he goes by himself. I updated the daughter. Surveillance was discontinued, and I just let her know her angel of a dad just wanted to be alone.
Big Tech will try to tell you that changing your settings and turning off app tracking is all you need to do to protect your privacy. Right. Are we supposed to believe that the big bad tech wolf has now turned into our sweet grandma? Big Tech literally feeds on your information. That's why I use ExpressVPN. With the ExpressVPN app on your computer or phone, you're hiding your unique IP address. Websites can't use that address to find out your real location or track what you do online. On top of that, ExpressVPN encrypts and reroutes all your online activity. Your internet provider, Wi-Fi admin, and hackers can't see it. It just takes one click to protect all your devices. That's why ExpressVPN is rated #1 by CNET, Wired, TechRadar, and countless others. Visit expressvpn.com/Kim and you can get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. That's expressvpn.com/Kim for 3 months free of ExpressVPN. That's expressvpn.com/Kim. expressvpn.com/Kim. Okay. I mean, when you set that up, I thought for sure, like, he's having a few cocktails, he's getting loosey, he's going to go meet this girl. But as it turns out, Frank just wanted some alone time, right?
Don't we all? We all want a little self-care day.
Yeah, exactly. So now, are these the videos that have gone viral, or are there other ones?
Yeah, Frank was one of my biggest ones, and which is interesting because everybody likes, like, they're like, oh, we love the tea and everything, but everybody actually really took a liking to Frank and being like, oh, like, we just want our alone time. But yeah, this is one of the biggest ones that went viral. And actually, the other one that went pretty big too was I followed a wife, and she just went to Ross and she went shopping and went to Starbucks and didn't do anything either. So a lot of people are liking to see, some of the tea, the good ones, but also these refreshing ones that, like, people are not cheating too.
I guess because, you can get a little paranoid, can't you? With all the tech around us all the time.
No, absolutely. And I don't think that, people are seeing my videos and the messages that I'm getting and the emails that I'm getting, like, hey, I saw your video, and, the way you said that he was acting in this video, that's how my spouse is acting, So, they could get a little paranoid by watching some of my videos too.
So do you have to get their permission to post these videos up?
Yeah, so a lot of these cases are older cases. I didn't think that this was going to get as big as it did, honestly. And so now, I do have a contract, and a lot of the people are saying, hey, we really want to stay discreet. We don't want, so I think we got to kind of move into shifting of probably like doing reenactments, exactly how everything goes, But yeah, it got bigger than I thought it was going to get.
And so, how many cases are you doing at a time?
Right now I'm working 6 days a week. So
Wow.
Monday through Saturday. And sometimes it depends on what the case is, I do a minimum of 4 hours. And then if they want to extend more, but sometimes it takes 2 days, sometimes it takes 3 days. Sometimes you just, on the first day, you don't find that they're cheating and they're not doing anything. You can be like, my husband's staying late from work on this day, and he actually is staying late from work, so they hire me again on another day that he says he's going to stay late for work. So these cases can run weeks.
So are there any cases or anybody that contacted you and you got the scoop and you're like, I don't really want to do this?
Yeah, I have. I actually don't let it get to the point where I'm doing the case and then I'm like, I don't want to do it. I usually have a conversation with them before even accepting the case, and if I feel like it's not something that I can do for them, or it's a little like, for instance, the girl wanted me to follow her ex-boyfriend, and she saw a picture with him with another girl that he said, you don't need to worry about her, I would never be with her. Now she's with her, and he's like, I just want to see what they're doing. And it's like, but that's your ex-boyfriend now, so I'm not going to be following and doing something like that for you.
It's time for you to move on.
One of the best kept secrets to looking and feeling amazing, collagen. You see, as we get older, our body slows down collagen production, leading to wrinkles, thinning hair, achy joints, and brittle nails. But you can fight back naturally. With high-quality collagen from Native Path, you're giving your body the essential building blocks to support smoother skin, stronger nails, shinier hair, and even healthier joints. Some studies suggest collagen supplements may also support bone health. It's not about turning back time. It's about feeling your best at any age. If you want to glow from the inside out, add Native Path collagen to your routine. Your future self will thank you. Now, Kim Commando listeners get 45% off with free shipping and a free gift bundle. Go to getnativepath.com/Kim. That's getnativepath.com/Kim. Don't miss out on this deal. Go to getnativepath.com/Kim right now.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Individual results may vary.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just time.
Exactly.
How much do you charge for this?
It's $150 an hour, minimum 4 hours.
Wait, you know what? I think this is great. And I love your personality when you're doing it. That that you're singing and you're talking, and you're kind of like, it's kind of like a little bit of voyeurism that but you are the front person, and you're really talented, Steph. You
Thank
really
you.
are.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's really nice to see. I wanted to show people what I do for a living, but also like everything that I do in my car, sometimes it's a waiting game in there. So everything I do in my car, the eye patches, the self-care, the singing, the eating, and all that stuff, like that really is what's going on in there until I'm waiting for somebody to come out, And I just want to kind of have like a comedic approach to this whole thing, because it could be I'm sitting in a car for 10 to 15 hours and it does get really boring.
Yeah. It's like, okay, now what are we going to do? All right.
Exactly.
Okay. So, but I do like it when you had on your little eye patches. I thought, I'm like, you know what? I need to find a use for those. I need to be able to put those on more often.
Yeah. And so many people now are sending me videos and pictures of themselves. Like, I have my eye patches on today, which is nice. So
where do you see yourself a couple of years from now?
Yeah. So the plan is, it got bigger, like I said, than I thought, so my face is out there. Obviously, I'm a private investigator. So I think it's time to start my own team. And I want a whole female private investigation team. I think that'd be really cool, that I'd have my girls to go out and do surveillance. And that's what I see. And I see myself, maybe I've always wanted to do like comedy, and I always want to be a stand-up comedian and stuff like that. So I have a lot of other things that I want to do too. I love doing surveillance, I really do. But I think having a badass like female team going out there is my next goal.
Yeah, you need to have a great name for them too.
Yeah, right.
That's going to be really key, because when you start doing this type of stuff, I mean, when I first started out, my husband came to me and he said, call yourself the digital goddess. I said, oh my God, that is so pompous. That is, I can't call myself the digital goddess. And I said, what am I going to do? Go to a party and say, oh, hi, I'm the digital goddess? And he's like, no, everybody needs a moniker. Just call yourself the digital goddess. So I went on the air and I said, hi, I'm Kim Commando, the digital goddess. And he came blowing in. to the studio. And he said, if you can't say it like you mean it, then don't say it at all. Okay. Well, I got mad at him for talking to me that way. Okay. So then I got on the air and said, I'm the digital goddess. And then he came in and goes, that's what I'm talking about, so.
I love that. Super supportive.
Yeah. And so now it's, people write me notes and people call, when they're on the air, they'll say, hey, you're my digital goddess. And I'm like,
I love that.
I'm like, so you need to come up with something like that.
I need to come up with a really good name. Yeah,
you
I
do.
really do.
Well,
right now, just for me, they say I'm the 3 S's, and it's snacks, surveillance, because I'm always eating, and then self-care. So it's really cute. But yeah, I definitely need to come up with something really good.
Well, congrats on all the success. Thanks for sharing your story with us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And keep us posted.
Yeah, I will, definitely. Thank
Awesome.
you for having me.
Thanks, Steph.
This program is a copyrighted production of Westar Multimedia Entertainment and protected by the copyright laws. Any rebroadcast or use of this program for commercial, business, economic, or financial purposes without the written permission of Westar Multimedia Entertainment is strictly prohibited.